Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast, and welcome to one of our first trade ranking videos we've ever done. Grading your trades.
Sir,
How you doing this morning, Chris?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
glad we're on this segment. I get to show out a little bit,
Yeah.
show y'all how I finesse, how I move.
Oh
I don't win
gosh.
every trade, but I do win some.
You do. Hey, we're not gonna get them all, but we're gonna get some of them. And as a person who's in roughly 20 leagues, about 15 of
Sheesh.
them Dynasty, that makes for a lot of data to be compiled on people making trades for different players. So I don't have to go very far to get trades. We don't have a big audience yet, but I could just dive into my leagues, screenshot a few of what's been happening, and I could give you guys a wide array of what people think of certain players and picks. And with the NFL draft coming up in 2 days, so we're
Yes,
kind of
sir.
dating this, recording on 425 for all y'all watching. Um, we get to see how people value the first round picks in the rookie draft, pre NFL draft. What people think of players that are already in the league in comparison to these picks, and how you could kind of navigate in Dynasty, especially to acquire some solid talent for a lot of unknowns. So each trade we cover today will either have a first round rookie pick, and I think only one has an early second round rookie pick. So
Oh,
let's hop
yeah.
into them, bro. Go ahead. Let the people know what's the first one we're gonna cover.
All right, first one is going to be my trade. I had the 1-1, and yes, my team was bad, but that was a part of the game. And ended up scooping Josh Allen, Javonte Williams, and the 1-5 for DJ Moore, Trevor Lawrence, Malik Willis, and the 1-1. Thought process behind this is I love Jameer Gibbs. I was actually considering Jameer Gibbs at the 1, but why would I take that when I can sell it, get the 5, move back, still get my guy? So not only did I do that with this trade, but I also cemented a top 2 dynasty piece on a down year. Apparently, on a down year, he's number 2. 2 years before that, he's number 1 in fantasy in Josh Allen, so had to lock that up. There is a lot of potential with Trevor Lawrence, but I just don't see him touching Josh Allen anytime soon in terms of like throwing and on the ground. So I think for a dynasty move, this makes sense. I had to sell the hype on Bijan, and I think I went the right direction. What you think?
I think this trade is fairly even. I am pretty sure this trade went down before DJ Moore was a Bear, though.
The
So even though DJ Moore, it says Chicago on the pick, as you can see, we screenshotted these after a lot of trades have happened. But DJ Moore still going to be the wide receiver 1 in Chicago, paired up with Justin Fields. I think that'll be a better offensive situation for him this year. Trevor Lawrence is an up-and-comer at the quarterback position. I think dynasty ranking QB wise, he's top 7. Some people would have him like top 5. I don't know if I could reach that far, and I am a Jags fan, but he's definitely a top 7 quarterback in dynasty. 101 is Bijan, and we know what Bijan's expected to be. And Malik Willis, honestly, that's a good way to get off of him. You sweeten the deal for
Heck yeah.
Bobby Woods, but I don't think it really means anything. I think you could take him completely out of the trade, and I'd still feel the same way.
100%.
Javonte Williams coming off a knee injury. We have to see what the draft does. So that's why it's big that you got the 1-5 back as well. So you didn't completely move out of the first round. You have the ability to go get another first round caliber running back. And Josh Allen has been like the perennial top 2, top 3 fantasy quarterback in Dynasty for the last, 4 years? So 4 or 3 years?
Yeah, past 3 years. Last year he was
Yeah.
number 2. The 2 before that he was number 1.
Yeah. So I think it's a fairly even trade, and it depends on who's going where. Obviously, Bobby is a strong believer in Bijan, and he's buying the Trevor Lawrence hype, which, trust me, after next year, we'll be talking about him as a top 5 dynasty, no question, quarterback.
For sure.
And then DJ Moore is going to be a very viable player for the Chicago Bears. So I don't think it's much of a fleece. I think it's fairly even on both sides. I think you guys will both get some good value out of those picks coming up.
Yeah, and just in how my team was structured at the time, I knew BJ wasn't safe in my roster. Clearly, I got the 1-1 for a reason. So I constructed a championship team, which you'll see throughout this. But you ready for the next one?
I'm ready for the next one.
All right, we're going back to me again. It's the 1-4 and the 2-10 for the 1-5, which I just got, and a 2-8. The ideology of this was I just know who I'm drafting with. And there's certain people that know me and know that I love Gibbs, but if you know me, you really know me, you know I love value. And at that 4 spot, there's way more value than at the 5 spot because you can lock yourself in a QB. At this time, this is when AR-15 Pro Day was coming up. All the hype was around him, and I wanted to at least secure that before everyone got a chance to see how he would throw the ball. He had a great Pro Day, had a great combine. So now I have more options. I could always go Gibbs at 4 still. I can go AR-15, but even if AR-15 is at that spot, I can move back again, trade, and get even more value because I have that locked down. So that was my thought process behind it. This just opens up more options for me down the road. I did move back 2 spots in the second round. Don't think it's that big of a deal because moving up 1 spot in the first would be way more valuable if you pick up what I'm saying.
You definitely made this trade before the combine, if I remember correctly, because the combine definitely put AR on everybody's radar. Obviously, you made this trade with somebody who has watched UF football, so he was fully aware that AR was in this draft. It's not like it was a fleece of any kind. And even though it looks so simplistic, move 2 spots back in the second, move 1 spot up in the first, it changes things tremendously in that first round. Because like you said, you have all the power at the 1-4 now. Bijan's definitely the 1-1. Presumably, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are the 2 and 3. You have your choice of quarterback right there. You still have Gibbs right there. You have your choice of JSN right there. You have your choice of moving back again if you don't really love where the landing spots go. And in the second round, that 2-spot drop, you're already looking at different potential prospects back there. And one thing that hasn't been stated, this is a tight end premium league. So you could expect the Dalton Kincaids of the world to go a little bit earlier, the Michael Mayers of the world to go a little bit earlier. Buddy out of Georgia, I keep forgetting his name, right? So that will also bring some value to the back end of the second. So I think it was a good trade on your side. And I don't think Nick did anything crazy either. He also acquired some decent value. Again, another pretty fair deal.
Yeah, well, Nick did that on the assumption that I'm taking Gibbs because he wants AR, which is fine because he still gets extra value in his guy, which is what I led to with that trade. But like I said, I need options. Like that 5 has way less options than 4, and you'll see with this next trade why I did what I did. So
Yes,
we're
sir.
on to the third one. Where is it? So I ended up moving that 1-4 along with a 2025 first, a 210 this year, and the 3-3 this year for T. Higgins, the 1-8, and the 2024 first from Kevin, who at that time his team looked like he was restructuring, might go into tank mode for Caleb Williams or Drake May. So that first could be a really early first. Had to buy that pick now. Right now they're going to be the cheapest they're ever going to be because after Thursday, just don't even think about it till mid-season when you have to pivot or make a move. The
That's a fact.
1-8 and T. Higgins, I could have got for the 1-4 alone, which is phenomenal value. T. Higgins would be pick 4th in this draft if you put him in there right now. On top of that, I got the 8. So this is me taking a little gamble, especially knowing with the people that I'm drafting with. I do feel like I can still get Gibbs at 8. I kind of have a sense of who's going before there. It is a reach, but in my eyes, I get Gibbs, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I get Jordan Addison. Either way, I come out a dub. So I like this trade, probably my favorite trade, because it's my first time getting T. Higgins in any league. So
I'm heavily weighted on the T. Higgins side of this deal. 2025, I don't know who's in that draft. And I know there's a lot of guys who are big on, Devy leagues or, obviously the prospects that are about to come into college and so on and so forth, or the prospects who are freshmen this year. 2025, I like to buy my picks 1 year out. I'm not going to go 2 years out. The 1-4 is a solid pick to try to acquire, but unfortunately, I feel like Kevin gave up a whole lot to get that 1-4.
well, he thinks JSN is the next Jettas, which by all means, if you believe it, get your
No,
guy.
but if he does believe that, I completely understand. But you have a very viable wide receiver option in T. Higgins, and even if you have the next Jettas at the 1-4, I just believe at the 1-8, you could still get very viable wide receiver talent. And when you pair T. Higgins with who you could get at the 1-8, which we did a mock draft recently, and you have players like Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison. If you're a Quentin Johnston fan, you have him back there still. I feel like you could get Jay Jettas type production out of T. Higgins and Zay Flowers, or T. Higgins and Jordan Addison. And you gave up your 2024 first when you're going kind of like in a semi-rebuild mode. And that draft, if you end up with, like, say, the 1-1 or the 1-3 in that range, you gave up two very valuable dynasty assets going forward for you, what you think is Jay Jettas. So,
exactly. Again, and I think this trade even boosts my side even more because, like you said, T. Higgins is very good. If I take him away and you're going to plug in a rookie receiver, history shows rookie receivers don't perform too well their first year. Unless you're like a freak athlete, Jamar Chase or Jay Jettas. Yeah. By all means. But if JSN struggles, that's going to help my 24 pick. So I'll take the chance. Couldn't say no. And T, come on. T?
Yeah. I think the love for T kind of went down a little bit. He had a fairly rough stretch at the back end of the year fantasy-wise. Was dealing with a little bit of injury this year, but people sleep on what he's been for the Bengals since he's gotten to that roster. So,
I watch every game. He's disgusting.
Yeah.
He's nasty.
I think that's a fairly solid win for you in that deal.
Thank you. I love the cosign because I want to do T for the 1-4 alone, but I had to be patient, and I knew I could get more value out of it. I just had to figure out a way to finesse. So, another side note. You might be offered a great trade. If they offer it to you, you don't have to accept that immediately. You can work, you can conversate, you can talk. I'm not saying be greedy. I'm just saying do your due diligence. Because if they say no to whatever you offer, they'll probably still accept what they offered you 10 minutes ago.
That's a fact.
So, on to the next one. I think this is yours now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got Evan Ingram, the 1-8, and the 2-5. And you traded away Darren Waller, the 1-12, and the 2-12.
All right. So I get to go into my reasoning a little bit. This is for the new Teal and Steel League that we've started. So all these rosters are startup rosters, and then we randomized the rookie draft. So none of these rosters are like, based on production last year. So I go into this deal. I was able to take Darren Waller very late in this draft, because we technically don't have a tight end spot in this one. Something we're trying out with the new league. We just added an extra flex spot. Of course, tight ends are still available. There's no tight end premium, but you're not forced to start one. So we're seeing how people would value the tight end position. Nobody really cared. So I was able to get Darren Waller, I think it was mid-10th round. And then after getting Darren Waller mid-10th round, of course, he was still in Las Vegas at the time. A lot of mouths to feed. Within a day, he gets traded to the Giants. Not as many mouths to feed. Very different offensive scheme, but a coach that's been known to utilize the tight end when he has a fairly solid one. And rookie tight ends in the New York Giants offense last year were able to produce somewhat. Again, no weapons out there really, but I was interested in that move, so to speak. But here's the big secret. I don't think Darren Waller is going to be very good next year.
Cap.
I think he's going to be okay. I think he will produce. If he's able to stay healthy, I do think he gets to 1,000 yards. But I don't think he's going to be what he was when he first hopped onto the scene, especially for the investment price that you were able to get him at when he first hopped onto the scene.
Okay.
Also, in this league, we're not forced to start a tight end. So my process was to try to move him off the hype immediately, right? And I had somebody who I knew was a huge Waller fan and saw that the Giants was a good landing spot. And pre-draft, there's nobody on the Giants to worry about. But again, that's pre-draft. I do feel like the Giants are going to add a viable wide receiver option in the draft this year. And Evan Ingram isn't a bad downgrade when I'm able to go up to the 1-8 and the 2-5. That's where I was sold, essentially. If
I don't even see it as a downgrade.
That's what I'm saying. The only downgrade is that there's going to be so many mouths to feed in Jacksonville this year. You're talking Christian Kirk, you're talking Calvin Ridley. Zay Jones has been viable for us. And then you add Evan Ingram to the mix. That's 4 deep. And we have Travis Etienne, so we're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
So there's just so many options. While if you look at Darren Waller right now, it's Darren Waller and Saquon Barkley.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Wandell?
Wandell. But he's coming off an injury. We don't know what we're gonna get out of Wandell at the first half of the year. Right?
That's true.
I was convinced with the 1-8, again, we did a mock. I could add Jordan Addison, I could do Zay Flowers. I could do a quarterback if they slip back there. And then at 2-5, there's running backs that I love that are going to go in the second round. The Sean Tuckers of the world, the Tajay Spears, our boy out of Illinois, Chase Brown. Did I get that right? Yeah. So I'll be able to add a lot of weaponry. While at the 112 and especially the 212, I didn't see the same options for me. So that's why I pulled the trigger on that deal, and I think I did fairly well.
Yeah, I think you ate on that. That 4-spot move up in the first is crucial. Mm-hmm. That move up in the second round is even more crucial because, like you said, that's a pretty early second compared to an early third you traded away. So I like it. The spots will be there. And you have a chance to really eat if someone slips up in that early second because a lot of people are getting some hype that I don't think are the best prospects. But I know you like your boy Tajay, and I don't see why he wouldn't be there at 2-5 if he gets drafted in the third round on Thursday or Friday.
And the potential also is not because I have the pick mean I have to use it. Somebody's going to fall in love with the prospect at the 2-5 and be willing to deal me somebody that they think isn't that amazing that I might have belief in going into next year.
It's true.
I will always say, if you acquire a ton of rookie picks, the best thing you could do is not use all of them, because somebody's gonna bust. You're not gonna go 100% hit rate on these rookie picks. So, if there's value to be had, and you could go on guys who already have production in the league, go ahead and move some of those picks. I've traded Amari Cooper for the 1-8 before. Other way around, like giving the person the Amari Cooper and got the 1-8. In the Justin Jefferson draft. And I didn't take Jay Jettis. I took like Jalen Reagor or Michael Pittman. Right? I missed. See, I missed. But the person who got Amari Cooper, outside of inconsistencies, he's been a very viable option for him.
Yeah.
So, again, there's still potential to miss at these picks. So the best thing you could do is kind of weigh your options and see who's really falling in love with the prospects. And sometimes it's best to just move off the guy if you don't see a guy you love. So that's my suggestion. My little tidbit with these trades.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next one we got trade with Bobby Woods. We got Derek Carr and the 1-5 for Daniel Jones and the 1-8.
All right, so we both aren't involved in this one for the first time. When you look at this from face value, how do you feel about it?
At first, I was like a little bit more on Bobby's side because he's now in the top 6 of the draft. But at the same time, I am a growing Daniel Jones fan every time I watch him play.
Okay.
Vanilla Vic, I'm so...
Yes.
He's good. He has got more weapons. They're going to surround him with more weapons. They just committed to him long term. That's a good trade. You move back to the 8, like you said. You're not completely out of top tier talent, but you can whoever follows you, congrats, you got him. But unless you're in love with JSN or Gibbs, which a lot of people aren't, then this is a trade where you like your guy, you still get value back, and you roll the dice. I like it for Jacob. For the Derek Carr situation, I'm not too sure how Bobby's team is structured, but we could see the best Carr we've seen in a minute. New Orleans has a solid offensive line, might be the best offensive line he's played behind in his career. Might have 2 running backs. Alvin Kamara's about to get suspended. They just got Jamal Williams. We'll see how the draft unfolds for them. Michael Thomas, big question mark, but who cares? Chris Olave's in the building. So
That's true.
I mean, I think this is a pretty good trade, honestly. You can't... Either team didn't really get finessed, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Daniel Jones side.
I agree 100% because this is a fantasy game. And one thing that Daniel Jones gives you is that rushing side. I won a championship off of Daniel Jones' leg last year, but he ran for 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns in championship week. I'm a huge Danny Dimes, a.k.a. Vanilla Vic fan when it comes to fantasy football. with the sneaky athleticism. We've talked about it before. Boy's just athletic. Stop calling it sneaky. We know why you call it sneaky, right? But Boy's just athletic. We could just call him athletic. The 1-8, there's still a lot of viable options at wide receiver back there, but you're right. The reason why Bobby did move up to the 1-5, he has a lot of love for JSN, and that's fine. And we've seen Derek Carr produce fairly well at a fantasy level. It's just there's been a little bit of inconsistencies or injury or, this year getting benched at the back end of the year. But I don't think he's a scrub.
No.
So I think
not at all.
If it's me, I'm siding with the Danny Dimes and 1-8 side, but I could easily see why you would go Derek Carr on the 1-5 side, because you don't lose a starting quarterback. You're gonna have a starting quarterback. Each team did in this trade, and then you both have viable picks in the first round. It's not like a huge gap. Like there's still viable wide receivers for you or other options at the 1-8, and you get your JSN almost 100% if you're at the 1-5. You lock that player in for yourself. So fairly good deal.
Yeah.
Fairly good deal by the guys.
Fire deal. Glad both. I hate the narrative that you have to completely win a trade.
It could be even.
This is a situation where both parties win. Everybody's happy, and you just go about your day.
Exactly.
Don't forget that, man. We live in a very capitalistic world, but
you have to
on
win.
To the next
you have
one.
to get the most value. Nah, bro, just get what you want out of it.
Get what you want, man. So we got Otto. Shout out to Automatic, the boy. Check
Yes,
your trades.
sir.
But we got the 1-6 and a 2024 second for Cooper Kupp and a 2024 third. And I'm actually upset this went through because I had a deal lined up for Cooper Kupp and Otto hates me. So shout out to the kid. But
I never talk trades with this man anymore. No more.
Yeah, he's such a... I mean, in his defense, I do send him bullshit trades probably once every other day. So he hates me for the right reason. But I am happy he made this. He seems like
he's going to rebuild.
He got what he wanted. The 1-6 for Kupp, I think, is solid, depending on who he takes with that. I'm just mad he's not on my roster, but can't be upset. So
I got an offer before this deal went through for 1-6 for Devontae Adams, and I declined it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm also going to rebuild. I have a roster that has no quarterback play, has solid positional players, but no quarterback play. So I'm trying to go somewhat of a rebuild, and I was offering my wide receiver duo for first round picks. So I was offering Diggs for a top 5 first round pick, or I was willing to go Devontae Adams for the 3 through 5. The 1-6 was a little bit too far for me. I was trying to offer Travis Kelce for the 1-6. Nobody really pulled the trigger on any of those. But yeah, I think this is a fair deal for Otto and a good trade for Hunter. We'll see where Kupp lands. I don't know if he'll start the season with the Rams. Obviously, draft day's coming up. A lot of moves can be made. It looks like the Rams are committed to rebuilding. Letting Jalen Ramsey out the building for a bag of chips. Aaron Donald's a question mark to come back next year, so those championship years might be in the rear view. So we'll see what they're building going forward. But I think it's a great time to get off of Kupp, and that's a good value back. I think again both guys did fairly well in this deal. So
yeah, I love Kupp. I still think he's a beast.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, if you look at Otto's team, this is the right move in the right direction. For Hunter, I like the move, but that's not his last move because the way my team is structured now, Wavy, Cade, I don't think that puts him in a discussion with us just yet, but he's getting there. So
don't
we'll
worry,
see.
I might be able to help him out some because I'm still trying to get off some pieces.
Yeah, hey, no, hit me up. I got a 1-8 still, baby. Talk to me. All right, on to the next one. We got this trade. I'm mad I got the notification, but it is what it is. It's Sam Howell, the 2023 110 and 310 for Hayden Hurst. Shout out to the boy. Thank you for your service. Jordan Love and the 3-5.
So let's get into it. We all knew one way or another it was going to end up being Jordan Love being the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers this year. This deal was made weeks before the news was official yesterday.
Yeah.
Sam Howell is projected to be the starter in Washington this year. But if I give you the option of Jordan Love or Sam Howell going into the year for fantasy next year, which side are you feeling?
Jordan Love.
Okay. So that's one. Here's the thing. This is where it gets dicey, though. The 110 is a lot to spend for Jordan Love.
Yes.
With little to no starting experience, you are giving up, again, in this Dynasty mock we did recently. We did just the first round. We got, this is pre-draft, obviously, but we got Will Levis at the 110. Right?
Yeah.
We believe Hendon Hooker is going to get drafted in the first round. We got him at the 111. You could potentially get a quarterback at that back end. Most likely, the only one you probably get is Hendon Hooker, depending on landing spot. But you could get a quarterback at the one end. If it's not a quarterback, you're pushing the Jordan Addisons and the Zay Flowers of the world to the back end. I don't think Jordan Love is that much of a needle mover yet, but he's an unknown. So I could be wrong on that. If Jordan Love is the next great Green Bay Packers quarterback, this deal is a steal for null 001, a.k.a. Spencer.
Yeah, I think if you like Jordan Love, you had to trade for him right now because as soon as he steps on a field, he's going to go one of two ways, either extremely high or extremely low. I think everyone's going to have like a hard judge on him in his first year because he's been there for, 3 years now?
Almost.
2-3 years? Yeah, so technically this is his rookie season if you think about it. Like his first full, okay, give me the keys, let me drive the whip, So I like it in terms of risk reward. Like we said in our other video, back into the first, you're probably better off moving it. Jordan Love would be that type of talent because if you put him in this draft, I think he gets drafted over a couple other quarterbacks. Like if they were to get drafted today to Green Bay, then
he probably goes in
the
the first round again.
Yeah,
he would
for sure.
definitely go in the first round again. So
it's not a stretch.
The one issue is Sam Howell in this trade. Because I am not a full believer that he starts this year.
I do just because Ron Rivera likes him. He's going to get a shot. He's going to get 4 games. Yeah, I get it too. And their receiving core is crazy.
I think they're going to take... We could see that pick we talked about. We could see a Hendon Hooker land in Washington.
That's true.
And then this whole thing gets blown up. Right? Because I feel like Hendon Hooker could take the job from him within the second half of the year. There's, again, not a high investment point for Sam Howell. He was a 4th or a 5th round pick, if I remember correctly. Right? Jordan Love is that first round pick. Right? Again, it's all about investment and what you're willing to get back for what you invested in. And Jordan Love has the bigger contract and the 5th-year option. Sam Howell could get released for practically no cost to the Washington football team right now. So, or should I say Commanders. So a lot of unknowns on both sides, and looking at it initially, you were like, ooh, Jacob might have fleeced. No. But I don't think it's that far off.
Yeah, like I said, it's fair. It's just going to depend how those QBs fare out. Like, they both have their own risk-reward.
Yeah.
I don't even believe, I know Jordan Love's ceiling is higher than Sam Howell's. So the only way Jacob could win is if Jordan Love flops and Sam Howell is decent. Whereas, the other end, it's like Jordan Love could be great.
Or he hits on that 110. If he hits on that 110, then I was about to say, let's not forget the 110. If he hits on that 110, and in this draft, say it mimics the mock we did, and he gets Will Levis at the 110, which he wouldn't.
Then
but, or he gets Hendon Hooker at the 110, which is possible, and then they hit, then it'll be close to even unless Jordan Love becomes the 3rd straight Green Bay quarterback to become a Hall of Famer. Which, if we're being realistic, the chances that I want to say is low, but Green Bay's gone from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. It's potentially another one to the mix. So,
okay. On to the next one. We got back to you, Amal. You received Robert Woods and the 1-7 for Brandon Cooks, Desmond Ridder, and Taylor Heineke.
Okay. Let me explain myself.
Go ahead.
So I took Desmond Ridder. Again, this is the league with the startup draft. We didn't have any games last year. No rosters were set up a certain way. So this is straight from the startup right into the random rookie picks. And upon taking Desmond Ridder, all that was on my mind is how would I move Desmond Ridder? And then I think I was in round 16 and news came out that Taylor Heineke signed with the Falcons. And I was like, So I'm on the board. This is a Superflex league. I have Desmond Ridder. It's not a guarantee that he'll start. Let me scoop up Heineke. So at minimum, I have the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. I knew who I was drafting with. I knew there was a very big Atlanta Falcons fan in the room. I knew he was a huge Desmond Ridder fan. So I immediately went to cooking. I also overheard him tell me that he's not a fan of rookie picks. So I got to cooking a little bit. And I enticed him with the starting quarterback, potentially, for the Atlanta Falcons. Brandon Cooks, who, let's not get it twisted, is a way better asset than Robert Woods. Obviously, both are on the decline of their fantasy value, but I still think Brandon Cooks has the potential to give you 2 to 3 more good years. For the 1-7, which is a huge unknown. Now, when I did this deal initially, the league was up in arms. This is a fleece. How did he get fleeced like that? Does this guy know fantasy? But hear me out. There's no guarantees at this 1-7. Who knows if I'll pick the right receiver back here? Like I said, I traded Amari Cooper for Michael Pittman when Jay Jettis was on the board still. I could miss. And if I miss and get Robert Woods and a bust, like say Quentin Johnston. Sorry, had to be disrespectful one more time. And Desmond Ridder goes on to have a pretty solid, essentially rookie year, because he only played 3 games last year. We don't know that. You yourself, before we hopped on this camera, don't switch up, Chris. Before we hopped on this camera,
check his QBR the last 4 games.
You said Bijan Robinson gets drafted by Atlanta at the 1-8, which would be crazy. I don't think they do that. Okay. But if he gets drafted at the 1-8, then there's so many weapons on that Atlanta Falcons field. All you have to tell him is to kind of just navigate it.
Yeah, just don't
distribute
fumble.
The ball. And if he distributes the ball well enough, he's going to be a very valuable asset.
No, I just think it's funny. You said Cinnabron said he doesn't like rookie picks, but then trades for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
Desmond Ridder's pretty much a rookie, so I don't.
But it's his rookie.
Process is like
that's the thought process. It's his rookie. It's the starting quarterback for his favorite team, and he believes in the asset. That's what I'm saying. When you bring your, I guess, team biases, because I'm not gonna lie, you could have done that to me with Trevor Lawrence, and I would have given you rookie picks for him. Obviously, different situation. One was seen as a generational quarterback, went at the first pick overall in the draft, and then
there's that.
Yeah.
No, I like Desmond Ridder. I love Desmond Ridder, but you still ate on this just because of that 1-7. There's, like you said, either way you come out good as long as you make the good pick, a.k.a. not Quentin Johnston. But
a.k.a. not Quentin Johnston. But
we know what Cooks is going to be in Dallas. Like, I see him, definitely really good next year. Year 2 is going to be a lot of questions. Year 3 is all right,
you're talking about year 2.
Replacement.
This man hasn't spent 2 years in the same place in so long.
Exactly.
So, he might land again. Everybody makes fun of this. I feel like at some point I'm gonna see this man in a Chiefs uniform.
Dog, yeah, you might.
Or he might end up in Buffalo with Josh Allen. He's gonna finally get a chance to play with one of the young, elite quarterbacks.
Yeah,
you know?
And I know, at least with the other two, you traded Heineke and Ridder, that's really one player because only one of them is gonna play at a time. You're not starting both.
But that's the thing. You don't have to worry about the starter unless Atlanta comes out on draft day and does some crazy deal to acquire Lamar.
Yeah. I hope they do, but we'll see.
Amen.
But no, I got you on that side. Good deal.
Appreciate it.
All right. On to trade number 9. Very upset that this went through without even my discussion because I had the 2-3. You could have came knocking at my door. But Kevin trades Michael Pittman for the 2-2. Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
What the fuck? That's what I gotta say. Bruh, you couldn't call me. You got my number. You know where I live.
Yeah, shoot.
We could have had a drink or two and chopped this down. The 2-2 for Michael Pittman.
You could have hit me, broski. I tried to give you the first round pick for Michael Pittman during the season.
Come on, bro.
And it wasn't really working in your favor. You didn't love it. You thought my team was going to be too good, and my first round pick would be at the back end of the first. And then the season ends, and you go, well, I don't even want a first round pick for him now.
Exactly.
I'm gonna take the 2-2 for him. I have the 2. Do I have the 2 for him? Nah, I might have traded out of that. But
Yeah.
like, I think this is where we get a little bit too over our skis on what the prospects are going to be coming out. I will put pretty confident money that the person at the 2-2 will not have Michael Pittman production next year. He will not have Michael Pittman production the year after that, right? I think Michael Pittman hasn't gotten a fair shot to really shine. This was supposed to be his year to explode with a quarterback that could read defenses and kind of get the ball to him. Matt Ryan was washed. He was done. Cooked.
Boy was bleached. I mean, washed. He was donezo.
He was donezo. So we get back into things, and you could potentially get Michael Pittman with a rookie quarterback, with an arm, behind a line that underperformed last year, and we could actually see what this guy's about. And we trade him for the 2-2, and I mean, hey, man. Again, this is a tight end premium league. This trade was made in. So Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid will probably move up a little bit, which moves some people back, right? And if you're a big believer in Quentin Johnston, he might be there at the 2-2. But I just don't think he's Michael Pittman.
Not at all.
I like the Michael Pittman side of this deal heavily. Great job moving the rookie pick. I honestly thought you'd have to wait until...
To see who's on the board to move that? Because he could have. You're right. Would have still got the same deal.
What?
Probably better. I just don't understand what the rush was to get a 2-2.
Yeah, you could have definitely... You could have definitely done something different there.
Bruh.
Or waited.
This trade? I'm getting hot, man. I'm mad.
But, hey, good job moving the rookie pick, selling the hype. Great job.
Good job, Cade. Good job, Cade. All right, we're down to our last 2 trades. We're back to your boy.
Oh, boy.
And
what he did.
This is me committing to the championship mode. I went from having the 1-1 to now a legit contender. I traded 2024 first and third for Derrick Henry and the 2024 second. Now, that 2024 first and that 2024 second I got are going to be fairly close because Nick was the 4th worst team this year and clearly isn't getting better, trading away Derrick Henry for this. Mm-hmm. He plans on drafting AR-15, and if AR is in a perfect situation, he's going to get benched his rookie year, so that's not going to help him either. And I actually see that second pick being like the 2-1, the 2-2. So, especially in the sense of me going in championship mode, someone else is in tank mode. I move back a couple spots and get Derrick Henry for the rest of his career. By all means, do what I got to do.
I think you did a pretty good job on this deal. We don't know what's going on at the 2024 for you yet. 2024 first. I understand making sure you get a first-round pick for Derrick Henry. I still think you have the potential to get a back-end first at least for Derrick Henry this year. But
yeah,
I understand the selling point. You gave up a 2024 second in the deal. I would not have done that.
No, I gave up a 2024 first and third.
Him. Oh. Like he gave up Derrick Henry and the second. I wouldn't have done that with the way the team was structured. But I understand trying to get off of an older asset. And maybe he felt like he had to sweeten the deal a little bit because Derrick Henry is kind of up there in years, and his play style doesn't lead to him being successful in the back end of his years. But based on where you're going, you're only looking at this year and next, most likely. You probably aren't worried about Derrick Henry 4 years out from this deal. So,
well, the way my team is structured right now, I could lose. I could not play Derrick Henry, and I still feel like I can compete.
Yeah,
honestly. So
yeah, there's that part of the equation as well. Do I think you won the deal? Yeah. In the short term, for sure. We do have to see where your first round pick lands because crazy things happen in fantasy, bro.
I'm winning this year.
I have.
You can go ahead and ship the sweatshirt now if you want. Save you some time.
Nah.
I'm winning.
I tell you, there were rosters I had last year that you could not tell me wouldn't be in the finals. And then football happened, and I end up with like the 8th worst record in the league. So crazy things happen in fantasy. But based on where your roster is setting up to go, I think this was a smart move for you going forward for the next 2 years. And if the whispers are right and Derrick Henry's going to be in an Eagles uniform behind the Eagles O-line and that electric offense, you will get a lot of rushing touchdowns. If Jalen Hurts doesn't siphon them all. So,
I don't even think you want Hurts to get that anymore. You run an option with Hurts and Derrick Henry at goal line, they're not stopping that. No team can stop that.
No team's stopping that. So I think that's a solid move for you, and I understand where Nick was coming from. I don't think it's like an outrageous miss or anything like that, but I get the reasoning.
It's not a miss. I just feel like, from a personal perspective, I do think he rushed it because he hit me up saying he wanted 2024 first just for Henry. But like I said, do your due diligence, have patience. You can. That's a great deal as is, but or not a great deal in terms of like what I'm trying to pitch for my team and go full championship mode. It makes sense for both parties, but you still gotta squeeze the juice out, get all that pulp, all that good stuff.
Acquiring the second with Henry, pretty much essentially protected that you lost that first, because like you said, I don't think Nick's roster is gonna be able to make that a back end second round pick. So I would have tried to hold on for that with that pick for dear life.
Yeah, or at least wait until the draft and be like, okay, can I move him for a this year pick? I know he's big on next year, and like Drake May, Caleb Williams again. His plan apparently was to package Mike first with his to move up if he needs to. But especially knowing Nick, I do believe he'll be the worst team next year. He will make sure of that.
Gosh. Tough.
And on to the last move. We got Cinnabron back in the building. He traded away A.J. Brown, Michael Carter, Breece Hall, and the 212 for Tyreek Hill, Dameon Pierce, the 112, and the 310. Do you want to go first or you want me?
Yeah, let me discuss
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I have a little bit of my fingerprint on this trade. I was approached by Jacob about how I felt about a deal he was working out with Cinnabron, a.k.a. Joseph. And when he read it out to me, I was 100% honest with him. This deal initially did not involve Michael Carter and the 310. I think it involved the 110, the 112, Dameon Pierce, and Tyreek Hill. And he was able to maneuver it out of that into the 310, the 112, Dameon Pierce, Tyreek Hill, and he gets Michael Carter. Now, I think my selling point was offering the 2 first would be a really hefty price to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think readjusting the trade definitely landed it in his favor. You get Breece Hall. You get most likely his backup. Zenobia Knight's still over there. But you get most likely his backup. You get to keep your 110. You get A.J. Brown, who's a younger wide receiver asset. And I mean, 212 is just icing on the cake at that point. Tyreek Hill is a game-breaking type of wide receiver. Fantasy-wise, big numbers, right? But Tyreek Hill doesn't do your roster, I feel like, much good unless you have other very sound supporting pieces. I feel like Jacob could have wrote out the Tyreek Hill news, but the deal he made out of this to upgrade at the running back position, to upgrade long-term at the wide receiver position as well, I think it was a great move on his part. I do. You take the floor.
What the fuck?
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Okay.
A.J. Brown and Breece Hall for next 2 years of Tyreek Hill and a early second. Come on, bro. Like, you got 2 dynasty pieces, like legit dynasty pieces. Dameon Pierce is iffy because, like you said, in the draft, we don't know what's going to happen in Houston. They're not committed to him because of the draft capital. The 112 we discussed, and the 310 is disgusting. So,
disgusting.
Like, I'm just putting it out there. You got 2 cornerstones. You got A.J. Brown, top 5 dynasty. Breece Hall, top 5 dynasty. Breece Hall's backup, who will hold you over until then because he's around talent and a half in New York. I no doubt in my mind Jacob swept this deal.
This was done before the Aaron Rodgers deal as well. But, everybody was just waiting for that to be official. And again, Dameon Pierce, if he survives the draft and Houston doesn't take anybody to split the backfield or potentially take over the backfield. Dameon Pierce is a very fun talent to watch, and I think could manage a workload of 3 downs. He could be a first 3 downs type of back, right?
Yeah.
But that Houston offense is horrible,
And the way,
and it didn't get
or
better.
not the way, but I've been hearing a lot of rumors these last couple of days that they're not committed to a QB. Like if Bryce Young is taking 1, they could take defense at 2, which doesn't help Pierce coming back from injury.
Exactly. And Davis Mills, I think we've seen enough of that.
That boy finna be working for General Mills soon.
Facts. So it's a tough one to swallow, I think. I think Jacob won the deal. I do think Jacob
I
won
think
the
Senna
deal.
Brown woke up and was like, how can my team get worse today?
Chill
Come,
out.
let's do this. Bruh, come on. After that Hill news, you have so much leverage, which I don't think he even attempted to use. Like, this is a good trade if Tyreek doesn't announce he's retiring soon. By all means, like you said, explosive playmaker, great trade. But this is Dynasty, and right now, you have 2 more years left of Hill. So if you don't win in these next 2 years, then what? Like, you gave up I want to say Brees Hall was his, second round pick? A.J. Brown was probably right after that?
Yeah, I think it
For
was
one
second,
man?
third round pick. Yeah.
Like, so,
I mean, he loves Dameon
Like I
Pierce,
said.
so
oh, sure, love him. Take him. Get your guy. I'm a believer. But if he gets replaced and Tyreek Hill retires 2 years from now and you don't win, then I don't think this is a way to say, I'm committed to a championship. Let me trade away A.J. Brown and Brees Hall for Tyreek Hill. Like, if you're going to get, other pieces, I think that trade's good enough to get, a Jay Jettas involved. Because he's a cornerstone piece. This type of trade, you go after, a Jamar Chase, a legitimate piece, which Tyreek Hill is, but those players have long careers ahead of them at the same time.
I don't think he's done making moves. I knew he reached out to
I
me
hope
for
so.
Tua, so he could pair Tua
Ugh.
with Tyreek.
Yuck.
I think Tua healthy is going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. I'll
You're
put
right.
that on film.
Tua healthy.
Yeah, Tua healthy
Tua
is going to be
healthy.
a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year.
Sure
Now,
beans.
obviously, Tua healthy is the question mark, but we got to believe until we see otherwise, right?
We've seen. What do you mean seen otherwise? We've seen. This is a dangerous sport. You're telling me he's not going to get hit at least one time this year? That's all it's going to take.
You think?
One time landing. We saw it Cincinnati versus Dolphins. Took 1 sack.
You're right.
Done.
He did take 1 sack.
Yeah, he's fragile. He's already small. The narrative that was before the draft came true throughout his career so far. And I don't see any quarterback not be able to take those hits, but especially with his size compared to the defensive ends tackling him, he's going to get thrown the same way he got thrown in Cincy, the same way he got thrown every other time, and it's just a slippery slope. It's just,
You're right.
I would stay away from Tua. The risk reward, I feel like heavily favors the risk side. The reward is there, top 5, 100%. Don't think we see it.
It's a really tough one, man. It's a really tough one because I think there's so much potential. But honestly, if I'm being completely real with myself, it's not so much the belief in Tua. It's just what they've done to surround whoever plays quarterback at that position. If they have any semblance of skill and ability to read defenses and accuracy, they're gonna be a very viable fantasy asset.
Yeah.
So, but when this trade was made, all I was thinking was that team that Jacob had was already a problem. Now, it's because I'm also doing a sweatshirt / hoodie / t-shirt custom for this league as well. I'm gonna get a teal and steel logo made professionally this time. Probably reach out to somebody on Fiverr, and that's gonna be the trophy for this league. And when I look at his roster, it's really hard for me to be like, somebody could come out of the woodworks to beat this roster. Because he has what he has, and he still has the 110.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I didn't even see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Austin Eckler, Brees Hall, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Terry McLaurin. Khalil Herbert has to survive the draft, but Khalil Herbert, Darren Waller, Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah.
That's a solid roster. That's going to be hard to beat. D-Hop on the bench, waiting to be somewhere other than Arizona. Tyler Lockett on the bench. James Conner on the bench, right? So he has enough depth and he has enough star talent and he has the 110. So it's hard to see any team in this league really, bullying him out of winning
everybody
the
stays
championship.
healthy, then he will be in the championship.
He should win the championship, or at least, like I said, be in it. So yeah, I think he's done great deals and done great deals in the startup draft as well to put his team in position to compete for a championship year one. But yeah, if I had to rate that trade, I think Jacob did a pretty good job of keeping his value. He almost went crazy because he was offering both first-round picks, A.J. Brown, not both first-round picks, Tyreek Hill, for I think A.J. Brown at one point. That's it. So he worked backwards. Breaking news. Sailors
Go
K
ahead.
is throwing people up on the trade block as we record.
I got inspired, bro. I gotta fish real quick. If he can get that done, then anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Garrett Wilson's now on the trade block in the Teal and Steel Dynasty League. Isaiah Pacheco, who, not to poop on Chris's parade, has to survive the draft. Isaiah Pacheco is on the trade block. And Deshaun Watson, an asset that a lot of people have forgotten about because he had a rough year last year, but let's not get it twisted. I think
Watson's not moving unless it's a mega deal.
Better years are ahead for Deshaun Watson. But yeah, maybe the next video we hop on, if it's post NFL draft or pre NFL draft, we might have some more trades to come back with you guys at. The player profiles are starting to get a little bit more viewership, seeing as the draft is coming up. We appreciate the support on those. Jordan Addison, I think, is just above 28 views now. Y'all have been supporting and we appreciate it. At 440 subscribers, hopefully you guys can get us on that 500 mark. That would be a big milestone for us. Keep listening to the pod, almost 1,000 listens. And we'll see you guys on the next video. KickNPost, YouTube channel and podcast. We out. You got anything to say to them, Chris?
I just got an offer. It's your boy. It's
a
the same offer. It's Garrett Wilson in the 1-4 for Justin Jefferson in the 2-10. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
A boy could try. A boy could try.
It's not happening. It's not happening. I love Jettas.
Hey, man.
I love Garrett Wilson.
Don't stop trying. Don't. Because you don't know. Chris might crack. So I like that you keep trying. Keep doing your thing, Spence. But we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.